it was Sub Pop ultimately that helped craft the sequencing. And, we always obviously have had very passionate, very strong opinions about the flow of an album and where the ebbs need to be and where the triumphant ending needs to be. But Sub Pop, especially for Diary, was very instrumental in sort of helping us kind of craft the right presentation and they did other things too, like on some things where we would have maybe like an extra verse or an extra chorus or something. There's a couple of instances where Jonathan and Sub Pop would be like, you guys like trim the fat a little bit. This might actually be better. Yeah. And then we'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But sometimes we'd push back and be like, no, this song needs to be 6 minutes long.
This is our art.
Yeah.
How dare you?
How dare you try and make it better?
How dare you take away our right to be redundant?
So credit to Sub Pop for helping shape the track listing, which I think is really, it's very solid. It works really well. Sometimes there's an ender. There's even like when we would play it like together, just alone, there's not a lot you can do afterwards.
We would end the set with it often.
It leaves me completely drained and totally wrung out.
Originally, that was another song that I had written and brought to the band with that lead riff. And I'd even played when I opened up for you guys.
Yeah.
Sometimes was one of like my...
That's true.
Like favorites to play. It was a lot faster. And I used to sing with a falsetto, if you remember.
Yeah.
And then bringing it to the band, we slowed it down. And to me now, it had more of like it has more of a Slint Spiderland sparseness to it.
Very much.
That the band brought to it. And yeah, just another broken-hearted love song, slowed down and altered by the band.
Yeah. All the pain was authentic. There was no fabricated emotions, that's for sure. Yeah.
Sometimes a song that can make me ugly cry listening to it. Just pure streams of tears running down my face. And
I think recently, Dan, when we were re-recording it for the new 30th anniversary thing, when I was doing the vocals, I think there was an emotional reaction in the room too.
Yes.
Because it is a true emotion.
Yeah. Jeremy did one pass through and like right about 3/4 of the way through, I had to leave and go because I just started bawling and I had to like go be in the bathroom. I couldn't even I could hear it through the walls and I just had to get away from it because I was crying so hard. There's a little twinkly riff that I do in there that is just one of those bolt from the blue moments that like I couldn't write if I had to. Like you put a gun to my head and said do this, but it just like happened, and I think it's one of the most beautiful moments that I've ever just like accidentally lucked into in my life.
every record that I've ever been a part of, I don't want to listen to it mixed ever again. I am so done with listening over and over and over again that I usually, am out of the picture by the mix. That's my personal thing, is I've heard it too many times. So let's trust somebody else.
I would listen to Diary like maybe 5 or 6 hours in a row and just have the hairs raise on my arms and the back of my neck and be blown away that I was a part of it. And I thought that it was, a masterpiece, and I have loved it ever since the very first time I heard it, the final product.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always amazed at the sort of like creating something from nothing, like air sculpture, and how songs come into being. There's a mysterious element, there's definitely a conscious effort, but then there's also other elements that are like mysterious to me. But in time, I kind of like, there was a lot of things that I would have liked to have done differently or improved upon or not been as nervous. And I was a kid, we were all kids sort of, but it's a moment in time for sure.
We sort of had kind of a slow dissolution. I mean, we knew that we were going to break up for quite a while, but we still worked together. And I think that, there was just so much love there, but also so much pain. I mean, it's just young. We're so young.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for people, even mature, fully formed people, to get along and to overcome problems and to be able to ameliorate your own personality defects so that you can get along with other people. I think that it's inevitable that young people will tear themselves apart, especially when the project is, okay, let's examine the deepest, darkest parts of ourselves and let's write art about that.
Yeah, and then have to do it over and over
I'm
again.
I'm amazed that we stayed together. The first tour that took us up to recording Diary was a brutal. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy to put people through that. We had no idea. We had no idea what we were doing and what we were getting into. And all I can say is that the love between us has proven itself. We're here 30 years later with a whole discography beyond Diary of incredible art and incredible friendship. And, Jeremy said the other day, we've never broken up. We just have had to take some time to collect ourselves in between things, sometimes a decade. But it's absolutely true. In my heart, I never felt like Sunny Day broke up. I always felt like, there was a moment when we would come back together once we all could.